was engaging in, I think it was village gossip.
Yes.
And then the fourth one was something about rules and regulations, maybe not following rules and regulations. Um, and then there was greed for achievements, just material achievements. That I know was laulyam. I don't remember the Sanskrit words for anything else. And then I know I'm missing one, association with non-devotees.
Yes. Atyahara prayashasya prajalpanya magrha janasangasya laulyam cha shadbir bhakti vinashati. So those 6 things, which all of you can review, very nicely said. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you. Perfect. The third one, third verse. Someone else. Yes, Sucharu Radharani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Prabhuji, third verse, it says about the favorable principles which are favorable in our devotional service. So the first one was like one has to be enthusiastic, and one should have being patient, and like abdomining the association of non-devotees, following the acharyas, I mean their footsteps, and I think one more is like following the regulative principles, like which was like hearing, remembering, and one was it's
Very good.
the confidence, something endeavoring with confidence.
And yes, very good. And this is why learning these verses is so nice, because with the verse, then it's very easy to remember the 6 items, because each word goes with each one. So first one is utsaha, enthusiasm, nishayat, determination, dhairyat, patience, tat karma, utsaha nishayat dhairyat, tat karma pravartanat, tat karma, Sangatyaga, tat karma pravartanat. I'm forgetting what that means. That's the one that you here said. Yes, acting too. Tat karma pravartanat. Acting according to this 9, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, activities of devotional service. Sangatyagat, giving up the association of non-devotees. Again, it's a repeat from the previous. Sangatyagat sato vritte. And following in the footsteps of the great acharyas. Shadbir bhakti prasidyati. These 6 things establish one's devotional service. Yes, thank you. Very nice. You said correctly. Thank you. And then so we did text 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Text 4. Vijayendra Singh Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So the text 4 is the 6 things how we associate with devotees, and it goes with dadati pratiganati, guyam akhyati prachati, bhunkte bhojate chaiva, satvidham priti lakshanam. So the 6 things that help us associate or show us how to associate with devotees, and it is about giving and receiving gifts, and preaching to them, and inquiring, and revealing our secrets, or what I can't remember the word.
Our mind, revealing our mind,
revealing our mind. Yeah, in confidence, and then finally giving them prasad and accepting prasad from devotees are the 6 ways that show how we show love.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Prabhu. So very easy to remember. Offering prasad, giving prasad. Offering gifts, receiving gifts. Revealing one's mind confidentially, and hearing confidentially. So three exchanges, but in both directions, and that's 6. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Perfect. And so that's text 4, text 5. Yes, Ananda Gopika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 5 is where Srila Rupa Goswami mentions how do we offer our obeisances and what are the levels of the devotees. So we should mentally honor the devotees who have accepted the Harinam and who have started chanting. And the second level is we should humbly pay our obeisances to one who has taken to Diksha and has started engaging in the worshipping of the deities. And the third level is we should faithfully serve the pure devotees who have completely devoted themselves to the service of the Lord and whose heart is devoid of criticizing others. And I think in your recording you had mentioned, sorry, I couldn't join last time. I started from this time, but you mentioned the different types in which we can categorize these, the 3 devotees by different definitions.
Very nice. Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. This is wonderful. And so this is where we ended last time. And in this verse, number 5, in this verse, Sri Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, the Madhyam Adhikari, and the Uttam Adhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. So why is Rupa Goswami describing these 3 stages? So that we can relate accordingly with each devotee, as you were mentioning, offering service and respect to the Uttam Adhikari, offering obeisances to the Madhyam Adhikari, and mentally offering obeisances to the Kanishta Adhikari. And also, so how to relate with other devotees, but also to help identify, well, which stage am I at? And based on our faith, right, we saw it's different degrees of faith, our understanding of Shastra, and how we see others, right? A Kanishta Adhikari cannot appreciate devotees. He only sees God and living beings. Madhyam Adhikari can differentiate between 4 types of persons: the advanced devotee, the innocent, the envious, and the Supreme Lord, and relate with them accordingly. And the Uttam Adhikari sees everyone as a pure devotee. They just see the soul in everyone's heart. And it's a very powerful vision that they have. So based upon the characteristics of these 3 stages, we know that, okay, this is the stage that I'm at. Of course, simultaneously, the devotee always feels that they're the most fallen. Genuinely, they feel that way. But they can also understand that, am I advancing or not? And which stage am I at? And so I should not try to imitate a higher stage. And imitation means, like, sometimes people say, oh, well, just see everyone as a pure devotee, embrace the tiger. There's a problem, don't deal with it, because just be transcendental. So that is imitating the Uttam Adhikari position, and doing that can sometimes be not beneficial in our spiritual life, because we need to act according to the level of our realization, right? A devotee acts to the level of their realization. One small example, just like Mahaprasad. Like, Mahaprasad never spoils. Mahaprasad is transcendental, especially Jagannath Mahaprasad. So one time someone asked His Holiness Satsarup Maharaj that this Mahaprasad is rotten now, but it says in the scriptures that Mahaprasad is never bad. So should I take this prasad? It has fungus on it and all these. Should I just eat it because it's prasad? And Satsarup Maharaj responded to him that yes, it is transcendental, in fact, and you can eat it because it's Krishna's Mahaprasad. However, you need to act according to your level of realization. If you are seeing it as rotten, then you cannot eat it. You're probably going to get sick. So if you are actually not on that platform, then act on the Madhyamadikari platform and nicely bury it in the ground. Don't throw it in the trash, but maybe put it on the ground. Let the other living beings, like the insects and all, let them take it, but you don't have to take it. So we act on the level of our realization based on this knowledge. So it's not just for others, but it's for ourselves to see, okay, how can I act on my level of realization? So an Uttamadikari devotee knows that they're an Uttamadikari devotee, yet at the same time they feel they're the most fallen. And you think, well, how can both things go together? That's the amazing thing about spiritual life, that both things can be true and they can go together. We can be, that's why, for example, Bharat Maharaj, when he's offended by Maharaja Hugna, he feels sorry for the king because he knows that there'll be a punishment. Even though he feels himself so fallen, but he knows that I'm a devotee of the Lord, I'm surrendered to the Lord, and there'll be a reaction for this. So he uplifts him. Haridas Thakur, right? He knows that the centuries, the people who are beating him, it wasn't good for them. The Qazi, the Nawab, it wasn't good for what they're doing to Haridas Thakur. Therefore, in his mind, he's praying for them because he knows he's a devotee. Yet he also knows he's the most fallen. He feels he's the most fallen. So a devotee simultaneously truly understands both. And we also, as aspiring devotees, can understand which level I'm at based upon the various qualities and activities and levels of faith that Rupa Goswami describes. So most of us should be on the Madhyamadikari level. That should be very quickly our aspiration. We should move from Kanishta to Madhyam. Because Kanishta is for those, in masses who are visiting the temple, but very little interest in associating with devotees. As soon as we get the taste to associate and serve devotees, particularly serve devotees, then we come on the Madhyamadikari level. A Kanishta only cares about the deity, worship God, go to the temple. But as soon as we serve devotees, then we come to the Madhyamadikari level. So we should be on that level. And then we can gradually work to Uttamadikari, but that takes a lot of time. And so now it's being described how to elevate ourselves to that highest platform, right? So what is the means of coming to that? And that's exactly what Rupa Goswami speaks, what we've just been discussing. Drishtai svabhava janatarva pushascha dosai na prakritatva miha bhakta janasya pashe Gangam bhasam na khalu buddhafena pankai Brahma dravatyam apagacchati niradharmai. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee's having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. Such a nice verse. And so this verse is answering this question: how do we elevate ourselves? And as I just mentioned, to come from Kanishta to Madhyam, we must serve the devotee. We must get the appreciation for a devotee. And here Rupa Goswami is helping us. How do we get that appreciation? The first and foremost, the most basic element of that appreciation is to not see the devotee as a body, to see the soul of a devotee, to see the devotee as transcendental to the body. Because the first thing that we do is we judge a devotee based on their body. That's because of our material consciousness. That's what we do. We think, oh, he's a white devotee, he's a black devotee, he's a brown devotee, he's a Bengali devotee, he's a Gujarati devotee, he's a South Indian devotee. So Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Devotion, which many of you have covered, that there's many offenses. Among all those offenses, the worst offense is to offend the devotee of the Lord. And among the offenses to the devotee of the Lord, the worst offense, most serious offense, is to offend a devotee based upon their birth, their body. Right? So you think, oh, this devotee is a black devotee, so let me, he doesn't know what, Vedic culture is, or a white devotee, or, and based on their body, we discriminate between them. We judge them. We decide, is this an advanced devotee or not? Or sometimes, if a advanced devotee looks very beautiful in their form, we think, oh, they're very advanced devotee. But if they are, not so good looking, maybe a little overweight, or there's some physical issue, and then we think, oh, they're not so advanced. See, they don't look like Lord Chaitanya's associates, right? But this is a materialistic vision. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who was the spiritual master of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, was such an advanced, Mahabhagavad devotee. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, from externally, looked haggardly from a materialistic point of view. His body and everything was, just, unkept. He wouldn't shave. He was in, chanting in the bathroom. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj could recognize that this devotee is a Mahabhagavad devotee, the most amazing spiritual personality. So to discriminate between devotees, to judge a devotee, to disrespect them based upon their bodily form is a great offense. And to serve them in spite of any material consideration is what leads us from one stage to another stage of life. And we're just reading these amazing verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam in the section of Prithu Maharaj, where Prabhupada is saying the same thing, that if we really want to advance in spiritual life, not Prabhupada, Prithu Maharaj is saying, and Prabhupada is commenting on that, then we must serve the devotees of the Lord. And while the Lord accepts prasad through the fire, grains through the fire, he more so accepts prasad through the mouths of the devotees. In other words, he doesn't really accept prasad when we offer it in the fire. He may or may not. But when we offer it through the mouth of a pure devotee, then the Lord accepts that. That is 1,000 times more powerful than offering grains into the fire. So he writes that by service to a pure devotee of the Lord, we get that position that is not achieved by even serving the Lord. And Krishna himself gives the example of this, right? He himself serves his devotees. He serves Sudama Brahmana. He serves his devotees. And it's because of that Krishna is glorious, Prithu Maharaj says. Krishna's glories all around the world his fame is immortal because he serves the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Therefore, he is so glorious. And so he's showing by example, Krishna is showing by example the importance of offering worship, offering service to the devotees of the Lord. And here it's being described that the body of a pure devotee can never be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges. So this is such a perfect example because externally the Ganges has bubbles. Bubbles means pollution, basically. Foam, mud is mixed in the Ganges as brown water, right? But everyone knows that Ganges water is always pure, right? It cures diseases. And a few very important points quickly I'll mention here. Prabhupada in the purport describes that how there's a person who only drank Ganga water. And because he always drank Ganges water, he never got any disease. So it's like medicine and it's water. So Ganga water is the most healthiest water you can drink in the three worlds. And it cures all diseases, or rather, if you don't have any disease, you won't get any disease. Maybe it doesn't cure everything, but if you drink that, Prabhupada is saying practically he saw that one man only drank Ganges water and he never got sick. So that's number one. Number two is that, and I believe he doesn't say it in this Prabhupada, but Prabhupada says somewhere, I think Prabhupada says somewhere that the British, when they would go on their great voyages, right, and they would be on sea for months on end, the biggest problem was water, right? Because if you take a lot of water on the ship, which is what you do, then the water after a few weeks gets stale, right? It gets, bugs come on, it gets bad. Water also can get bad. If you keep it in a jug for a long period of time, you drink that water, it's not good for health. However, they found out that if they took Ganges water and they kept it, it always remained fresh. It never gets bad. And you can try this. Next time you go to India, take water from the Ganga, or maybe the pre-packaged ones. If they're actually Ganges water, you can test, because that water will never go bad. It'll never, get contaminated. If you keep it there, it never gets undrinkable, old. So there's something very transcendental about it. Externally, there's bubbles and all these things, but internally, or truly, it is pure. So in the same way, this is what is being described here, that the waters of the Ganges is like the pure devotee of the Lord. In fact, the pure devotee of the Lord is even more pure than the Ganges, right? And there's actually a song, bhajan, regarding this. Anyone know that one?
Yeah, गंगार परश होइले पाश्चात्य पवन
Tomara darshan
दर्शने पवित्र करो यही तमर गुण. Yeah.
Yes. Very nice, Riteshwar. So that is the thing, that just by the Ganges, just in the Ganges, to get purified, you have to bathe many times. Many times. You have to keep bathing. You have to bathe daily, and then you get purified. But this song is saying, Darshan Pavitra Karo. Just by having the darshan of a devotee, one becomes purified. Ye tomar gun. Okay, so how not to judge someone's spiritual position, where they were born, or their gender, man, woman, what skin color they have, deformations, physically apparent diseases. Some devotee gets sick, we think, oh, they must not be an advanced devotee. But we cannot judge like that. Krishna glorifies his devotee by making them sick, so that people can see that even in that sickness, they are transcendental. Unless one is actually a devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. So it takes a pure devotee to recognize another pure devotee. And that's why we depend on the devotees to identify who is a devotee. That, and then secondly, we were just hearing actually a very nice class by His Grace Umapati Prabhu, and he was saying how unless the devotees of Mahabhagavat, the devotee must be understood based upon their activities, their character. So because we cannot know another devotee perfectly, then we have to understand a devotee based upon their behavior. And those devotees also, unless they're Mahabhagavatas, must show a example, a nice example, so that others can have faith in them. So a Mahabhagavad devotee is very difficult to understand because of their exalted position. But generally, we can identify a devotee, understand them by their behavior. If we consider the bodily defects of a Vaishnava, we should understand that we are committing an offense at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava. An offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava is very serious. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described this offense as Hati Mata, the mad elephant offense. A mad elephant can create a disaster, especially when it enters into a nicely trimmed garden. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against a Vaishnava. Like, it's actually in our interest, because we work so hard in spiritual life. Mangalarati, chanting, this, that. We work so hard. And then we go and we offend a Vaishnava, maybe due to incomplete information, maybe due to just hearing one side of the story. But we are convinced because our friend told us something. Our friend told us so, that GBC is bad, and this GBC is bad. And because of that, we commit an offense. Then we repeat it, right? We say something that is bad, or just hearing it and not saying something is bad. And then what do? We have to start all over again. So, my Guru Maharaj Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj used to say that if there's a problem, we should point it out in a very respectful way. If there's a problem, it is our duty to try to make an effort to try to resolve it, and that is pleasing to Krishna. Sometimes not saying something is an offense. However, we should not say something, and we should only say it in a certain way, unless we have, we are perfectly clear that we are trying to help the situation, and we are dealing with the problem, not the person. We're trying to, like Jesus said, hate the sin, not the sinner, right? So we are doing it in a way that does not offend any devotee of the Lord, right? And that is a very different approach. And we'll see that that approach you do the right thing, yet it doesn't bring such a backlash. When we have a problem with some devotee and we approach a greater Vaishnava, a higher Vaishnava, and request them to solve the issue, then the reaction on us is very less. If we don't say something, then the offense can be on us, because we are seeing some Vaishnava aparadh happen, or some problem there which is causing aparadhs, and we're not doing something about it. That can be a big problem. At the same time, if we do something about it and we do it incorrectly, we misjudge the situation, then that'll be a huge problem and we get a huge offense. So the best course of action is, when we have some problem, we go to Vaishnava who is greater than us. Unless we are in that position, unless like we are the spiritual master, or and that person is very happy to take instruction from us, then we go to someone who is more senior. We explain to them the problem, and then we see if they want to deal with it. If they feel it's a problem, they will deal with it. Someone that we trust, or we go to a community of Vaishnavas and explain the problem. And without criticizing, we try to explain the problem and then see what is the resolution, what is the conclusion. So the key thing here is respect and care, right? Respecting all Vaishnavas and being very careful in the way that we deal with them. We should think 10 times. We should be very gentle in our approach. We should tone down our our voice, all those things, and then try to solve the problem. Right? Sometimes, of course, in times of emergency or something, when we need to speak up, such a thing is not considered an offense. Offense means something that is motivated and inspired by envy and jealousy and anger. Something that's inspired by those things creates aparadh. So the solution is stay meek, stay humble. That is the solution. The devotees, they always advise to keep a low profile, right? We do our service very powerfully, but we still keep a low profile, and that helps us advance in spiritual life. because then we're doing it for Krishna, right? Then we are making the effort to do it for Krishna, rather than for name and fame and reputation. Loving exchange with the Vaishnavas are sixth.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji, yes.
Yeah, I have just one question.
Yes.
So just because we are used to like categorizing the people, I think as soon as we see them physically. So how can we avoid it? I don't know, you said like just thinking about them like by nation or by color or whatever it is, like that is also offense. So how can we avoid it? Because our mind is like used to certain things, categorizing the people. As soon as you see a person, immediately, like unknowingly also, it will go on judging the people. Like how to avoid, how to think like soul level. I don't know. I can't think at this point.
Yes. So we can remember the scriptures say to never consider the spiritual master to be an ordinary person, right? So in the same way, all Vaishnavas, we should think that they're not ordinary persons. So yes, we are seeing, but we should think that no, this Vaishnava is a spiritual body. This Vaishnava is a spiritual form. Every person, we should think that way, but especially in Vaishnavas, that they are a soul with a spiritual form. So the material form is just like their clothing, right? Just like that much we can do, right? We don't judge people by their clothing. In the same way, we should never judge the devotee by their clothing. So their body is their clothing, but they are the soul. They're not this body. Right? So based on their devotion to Krishna, we see them. Right.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry for interrupting.
No, this is a very good point, and I'm glad you raised this point. We have to train ourselves. We have to create those practices and that mood in the Krishna conscious society, because it's very easy to live in a temple where devotees become divided based upon their birth. I am an Indian devotees, and I associate with the Indian devotees. These are American devotees. I am a second generation devotee. I am a non-second generation devotee. I am a third generation devotee. So these are all bodily conceptions, and these are all conceptions based upon birth. And Rupa Goswami says that becomes an offense against a devotee. Okay, there's two more hands.
Also, one more thing is like if a person is have a spiritual master, and if another person has a different spiritual master, then also they find like two different groups of two different spiritual masters, I think.
Yes, actually, that's a very good point. That is also distinction based upon birth. That is also a distinction, a bodily distinction based upon birth. Why? Because when we take initiation, that's a spiritual birth. So then we are discriminating based upon birth, that, oh, you are born from this devotee, I am born from this devotee. So this is also very, you could say, this is in our effort here, Nectar of Instruction, this is on the Kanishta and Madhyam platform. This is not on the Uttama platform. We have to rise to the Uttama platform, right? So when we are, when in our advancement, this is not an advanced vision. A devotee is a devotee. A devotee is not a, such and such disciple or such and such disciple. A devotee is a devotee. If they love Krishna and Krishna's devotees, then what difference does it make which guru they are taking initiation from? What difference does it make? That's not love for our guru. That's the bodily conception of life. Love for our guru means that we are following his instructions, we are true to his instructions, but that we see all those who are dear to him to be equally dear to him. We see all those who are dear to him to be, or who his, like Lord Chaitanya, especially described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that he would treat his spiritual masters, god brothers, exactly in the same way that he would treat his spiritual master. So Ishvara Puri was a spiritual master who had ecstatic love for Krishna, and he is a disciple, Madhavendra Puri. And actually, I was going to thank you for reminding me, because I was going to give the story of Madhavendra Puri. It's a different topic, but I forgot about that. Very important in this relation. So he is a disciple. Ishwar Puri is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Another disciple that he has is Ramachandra Puri. Now, Ramachandra Puri was actually offensive to devotees, but initially, before he starts speaking offensively, it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and even after he's offensive. But my point is that as point for the example, the point is that Lord Chaitanya would treat Ramachandra Puri with the same respect and in the same way that he would treat Ishwar Puri, because he was his spiritual master's godbrother. Now, regarding Madhavendra Puri, it's a very nice example that Madhavendra Puri, he is a seed of ecstatic love for Krishna. And towards the end of his life, he became a little ill. And so he could not move and he was crying on his bed. And Ishwar Puri, his disciple, would come and clean the stool and urine of his spiritual master every day. And it's described that because of that, because he did not see, oh, this is stool, this is, and my spiritual master is trying, how is he passing stool and urine? Because of understanding that everything, the body of the devotee and its byproducts are all transcendental. And for serving his spiritual master in this way, Ishwar Puri becomes the guru of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He becomes the guru of God because he never saw Madhavendra Puri from a material vision. However, Ramachandra Puri, when he comes and he sees Ishwar Puri, Madhavendra Puri, says, oh, what is this? And he judges his spiritual master based upon his physical situation, and therefore he becomes an offender, someone who the devotees and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reject eventually. So even not just the body, but even the byproducts of a devotee, their stool and urine, a hard point to understand. But even that, for a Mahabhagavad devotee, even that we cannot see with material vision, because when a devotee's body is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord, it's transcendental, because it's something that is an offering to the Lord. Their body is an offering to the Lord. So yes, thank you very much. So Charu Radharani Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I mean, you just mentioned that if you see something going wrong or any problem is there or any issue, we should reach out and we should try to sort it out. If not, we should reach out to the senior devotees. So, but I also had some experience, and after that, the things are the same. When you see something going wrong and you say something, even if you reach out to senior devotees also, things remain same, nothing changes. So, but in fact, it comes back on you, right? You keep on pinpointing something or the other. So it's not from the senior devotees itself. So it just happened that the more senior devotees happened to came, and we had conversation. Though then they said that everybody has a guru, either Shiksha Guru or a mentor or Diksha Guru. They said that don't get involved into all these things, but just leave it on Krishna and their Guru. They will manage, because the more you'll get into it, the more you'll be away from your spiritual, your bhakti. To leave it. But still, like I have a tendency, when I see something going wrong, I just speak up. So now, so I have a confusion, if it is an offense, then should we be quiet or leave it on Krishna and their Guru? Like, okay, fine, whatever Krishna and the Guru will guide, they will do it.
Yes. So oftentimes what I experience in my devotional life is that we approach the senior person too late. And by that time, it's already very tight and people already feel like, okay, this person is, after me or something, because we've already, spoken up, and then that person is tense, they're defensive. What may work better is when we see the problem, rather than we speaking up, we go to someone senior and we explain the situation, and we do our duty, right? And we tell them that, please, I'm telling you in confidence, this is part of Rupa Goswami, right? Inquiring confidentially and hearing in confidence. So we say, look, I have this, I'm observing this, I have this doubt or this challenge, I'm submitting it to you. Now, obviously, that senior person needs to be someone that, is in the position to do something, or, has some, and then we leave it up to Krishna, because then we've done our duty, right? So, just a small example, right? So many things happen in New Vrindavan, even while Srila Prabhupada was here. So I asked one, senior devotee, very senior devotee, who was around that time, and said, why didn't Prabhupada take care of this? Why didn't he say something? And he said that no one told Srila Prabhupada. And though he's a pure devotee, it's still our duty to tell him, because he's not Krishna. We still have to tell him, right? And so that was their mistake, right, at that time. So if we don't tell, then the reaction can come on us, because something is wrong, but we're not. But then if we tell, and we know that this advanced devotee is in good position, then that's there. Then also we have to differentiate between types of problems. Some problems are matters of opinion, and then we have to kind of, I was just reading that the advanced level of devotion requires great submission. So if the problem is a matter of taste, of opinion, then we have to submit to the leaders, the seniors, like the advice that you received, that you just go on with your bhakti and let the seniors deal with it. If it's a matter of what we say, like a devotee is getting harmed, right? It's a matter of in, in ethics, we say that of moral standards, not of aesthetic standards, a matter of like injustice, someone being mistreated, then we may have to speak up. And if we speak up in those situations, and like I said, we know that this is very wrong, it's very clear, then Krishna will protect us. And even if there's a reaction, we speak up as a service to Krishna. But if we speak up on everything, like, where should the, picture go? Where should these things go? Then people will not, then it's not our role, right? So in some situations, we must speak up, and there will be a reaction, but it's okay, because there's no offense there. It's clear. What we're doing is very clear. Like, it's unmistakably clear. The problem comes when there's gray areas, and then at that point we should wait. Like, okay, am I very clear? Do the other devotees also, there must be some other devotees also seeing it, right? So then we just wait, and we let Krishna develop things or take care of things, and then Krishna will provide the right opportunity. So that's the dharyat part, right? The patience part. Sometimes the problem is there, but we have to wait until Krishna is going to make it happen, unless it's an emergency problem. Bhadra Krishna Prabhu.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, to the point that Mataji made, that how do we not differentiate between devotees? So in our Bhagavatam class, Rupanagar Prabhu always says that we should always think that I am the most fallen. Everybody else is a greater or a better devotee than me. And he says, if you keep that mood, then there are chances that you would not differentiate between anybody and not commit any offenses.
Yes, that's a nice mindset. Yes, my job is to be a servant, right? My job is to serve, right? And we can differentiate based upon their faith, right? So in other words, if some devotee is not properly situated in Krishna consciousness, right? Let's say they're a sahaja, or they're, then we can make some distinction there. But we should always feel that we are the most fallen. That's the point. Yes. Thank you. Wonderful points. Okay. So we completed one verse. Now he just did one verse. I was looking like how long Prabhupada's purpose are on these verses. Each verse is like a small book. So it's taking some time, but it seems like one verse, but it's really like a chapter. These are chapters that we are covering. Okay, so I will okay. Oh, 1 second, my battery is low. I'll just restart and log in. Something's happening. My computer's really just froze here. Okay. Okay, wonderful. We're good actually. It's just the battery. Okay. So now I'll share. Next one. Okay. So now the solution. So we are material. We have this material consciousness, right? And we were saying that because of this material consciousness, we're differentiating among devotees because we're seeing their body. Now, how do we solve that material consciousness? In this verse that is described. How do I come to the spiritual level? I'm just reading the translation here. The holy name of Lord Krishna, text 7, his quality, pastimes, and so forth, are all of the nature of absolute truth, beauty, and bliss. Naturally, they are very sweet, like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. Nescience, however, is compared to the disease called jaundice, which is caused by bilious secretions. Attacked by jaundice, the tongue of a diseased person cannot palatably relish sugar candy. Rather, a person with jaundice considers something sweet to taste very bitter. Avidya, ignorance, similarly perverts the ability to relish the transcendentally palatable name, quality, form, and pastimes of Krishna. Despite this disease, if one with great care and attention takes to Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy name and hearing Krishna's transcendental pastimes, his ignorance will be destroyed and his tongue enabled to taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna and his paraphernalia. Such a recovery of spiritual health is possible only by the regular cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So, how can we get spiritual happiness is being described here. Material happiness is a state of jaundice. This is a very key metaphor that is used throughout Srila Prabhupada's books, and it comes from this verse. And in the material disease condition, the material happiness is tasting something bitter and thinking it very sweet. Right? It's a state of jaundice and enjoying food in the state of jaundice where everything is opposite. Spiritual happiness is the real happiness, which is the stage of having real taste. So Prabhupada explains in the purport to this verse that the cure for jaundice is to suck on rock candy. Right? Jaundice is diagnosed when you eat rock candy, which is very sweet, it tastes bitter. So then the very cure of that disease is you keep sucking on the rock candy. In the beginning, it's so bitter, it's so horrible. It's just like the worst bitter thing when you have the disease. Rock candy, it's worse than uncooked karela, right? Very bitter, and but when you keep sucking on it, it becomes very sweet. So a great lesson is being communicated in this metaphor, where the rock candy is the holy name of Krishna. Right? The rock candy is the holy name of Krishna. So, what does that mean? That by this rock candy, it's bitter in the beginning. We don't like to chant. We think, I'm getting no taste. But then the cure, like in the case of rock candy, is to keep chanting. Keep chanting. And the more we chant, the more we suck on that rock candy, eventually it becomes sweet. The same thing is the name, quality, form, and pastimes of Krishna. Avidya perverts the ability to relish this. But if we keep taking it, then with great care and attention, we keep doing it, it destroys that ignorance and we can taste the sweetness of the transcendental nature of Krishna. So, in the purport, Prabhupada says so much, and there's so much always to cover in these verses, because he's bringing in the whole philosophy, so it's hard to figure out what not to cover. But he describes the whole step, all the steps described in Madhurya Kadambini, from Shraddha to Prema. And we know this because we've covered this in Nectar Devotion, but it's a nice review here. So first there's Shraddha, then there's Sadhu Sangha, then there's Bhajana Kriya. So in the beginning, it is unsteady. There's a kind of a false confidence, sporadic endeavor. I can be a pure devotee tomorrow. Indecision. We're sporadic endeavor. We're inspired one day, down the next day. Struggle with the senses, inability to keep vows, and enjoying the facilities of bhakti. All of these are the problems on the path of bhajana kriya. And we've struggled with this, and right, inability to keep vows. We think every day I'll do this, and then it does happen. So, so we go through all these different stages, and this is different anarthas. So this is the stages of anartha nivritti. Anarthas come from past sins, past piety, and offenses. Past sins, past piety, and offenses. Right? We think, like, where is this coming from? I was doing so nicely. All of a sudden, all of a sudden this thing came before my eyes, or I saw this, and why now am I suffering because of this? My spiritual life became bad because of this. I was doing so well in bhakti. Why did this come? It may be due to past offenses. And we are suffering the reaction now. And those offenses are becoming stumbling blocks, or you could say swamps in the path of our bhakti. And the number 4 is anarthas may come from bhakti itself. Not bhakti itself, but the benefits of bhakti. Prestige, wealth, comfortable position. So we have to be very careful not to accept these things for ourselves. To offer all the appreciation that we get, to offer it immediately to Krishna. All the wealth that we may get from the process of bhakti, or the practice of bhakti, we offer to Krishna, and the comfortable position as well. So Prabhupada is you could say, so detailed in his in his analysis. Anarthas in general cause sleep, distraction, bad habits, etc. Anarthas from past sins cause ignorance, false ego, attachment, hatred. From past sins, we get feelings of hatred towards them. Anarthas from past pious activities cause desire for pious enjoyment and for liberation. So past pious activities may bring you comfortable position and enjoyment. So all of those things must be avoided. And then after bhajana kriya and anartha nivritti, bhajana kriya continues. It becomes more and more sweeter. And once the anarthas get past, we are situated in the position of nishtha. Nishtha in bhakti and in quality of bhakti. Steadiness in body, mind, and words. Determination becomes easy. Steadiness in qualities refers to humility, giving respect, friendliness, mercifulness. May be steady in bhakti, but not steady in these, or steady in these, but not steady in bhakti. Nishtha is defined as steadiness in bhakti, even if the steadiness in the qualities isn't there. So we have to be steady in body, mind, and words. So let's say, we're fixed, steady in our devotional practice. But then we may be steady in our devotional practice, right? We wash pots every Sunday. But when we wash pots every Sunday, then simultaneously, we are blasting the temple management. We are being critical of other devotees. So the steadiness is there in service, but the steadiness in qualities is not there. So two types of steady. So we have to also be steady in the quality of humility, always humble, always giving respect, friendliness, mercifulness in all situations. So nice, isn't this? In one slide, it's like the essence of everything. And then Prabhupada focuses on that, well, if we want to become free from this disease of jaundice, and we want to taste the sweetness of the holy name of Krishna, then there's one problem. Anarthas, right? And anarthas come from offenses. And so what are the 10 offenses that we need to avoid? These are the offenses that need to be avoided, the 10 offenses. And so this is written in a very nice way. These are Brajananda Prabhu's slides that I'm reincarnating, reusing, and he's written them in a very nice way, where these are the 10 positive things to do to avoid committing the 10 offenses against the holy name. 10 defenses against the committing this. So the first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. So the defense to that is serve those who serve the Lord, appreciate their good qualities. Then we won't blaspheme them. We will take. So why do we blaspheme someone? Why do we criticize others? Because there's some pleasure in doing that. Right? When it's blasphemy, then it's pleasure in doing that. When we're solving a problem, then we're doing duty. We're not taking pleasure in finding fault with the other person. But when we are taking pleasure, then that's blasphemy. So rather than taking pleasure in blasphemy, we're looking for pleasure. That's the main issue here. We can take pleasure in glorifying the devotees and serving them. When that becomes our pleasure, then the blasphemy is not there. So then, number 2, adore Krishna as a supreme enjoyer and controller. Respect personality of Brahman Shiva as devotees of Krishna. So that avoids the offense of thinking them to be equal to Krishna. Carry out the orders of the spiritual master with enthusiasm and attention to detail. So the third offense is to disobey the orders. The opposite of that is fulfill the orders with enthusiasm and attention to detail. 4, honor and study the scriptures as the instructions of the Supreme Lord. This is so nice, isn't it? It's like we recite these 10 offenses every morning. It's like, oh, I don't do that. I don't do that. So to disregard the scriptures is a big offense. Opposite of that is this is part of our process. So all 10 things, offenses, the opposite of them is actually the process of Krishna consciousness. Those are the positive activities or attributes. Number 5, considering descriptions of the glories of the holy name given by the acharyas to be not even slightly exaggerated. Right? That's the opposite, to think them to be exaggeration. 6, to experience the holy name as transcendental sound descending from the spiritual world. Right? Not to be a material vibration. 7, protect your investment in chanting by following the regulated principles. 8, transcend feelings of duty and obligation and act for Krishna's pleasure. 9, discuss the glories of the holy name with servants of the Lord who relish them. And 10, chant attentively, absorbing heart and mind in the holy name and becoming steadily more detached from materialism. And so now in the next verse, Rupa Goswami goes further and he describes, after describing the remedy, the medicine, which is to take the holy name of Krishna, which is sweet, and this is the remedy to your material disease. Now, in the next one, which is text 8, he gives the essence of all advice. This is, so, you have 11,000 verses that become 11. And now these 11 verses, if you had one verse, this is the essence of all advice. And so that one we will do next time, because it'll take us like 30 to 40 minutes to do that. So if someone has any final comments, questions, we can take them now, especially on the second one. We took some on the first one. Any thoughts, reflections? Okay, yes. Kushi, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question regarding the previous verse. So sometimes in a situation, for example, like marriage or something like that, we have to, judge other devotees in a particular light, or for the purpose of the situation. So how can we avoid offense as well as still achieve the purpose?
Yes, yes. So the 6 symptoms of surrender. The first one is to see the Lord as one's protector, right? So the first thing is to understand that Krishna is protecting me, and to understand that Krishna is my actual protector, right? Then with that understanding and that vision, we deal with the problem, right? We have to deal with it. Sometimes humility is, speaking and dealing with the problem. We have to be realistic, but all the while understanding that I'm not the controller. I'm not the person who will change this person's heart. Krishna is, if he so desires, right? So we do it with the spirit of detachment. And when we do it with the spirit of detachment, then it's less likely to escalate. It's a spirit of detachment, meaning that I will try my best for Krishna's service. And my duty is to serve. I'm not here for my aggrandizement or for my position, for my ego, for my power, but I'm here to solve this problem so that we can serve Krishna nicely, right? So that we can serve Krishna nicely. So again, what is the motivation? Is it being motivated by envy or jealousy? And what is the purpose? Is it for my happiness, or is it for Krishna's happiness or Krishna's service? If we look at those two things, then that will guide our approach. Because, yeah, sometimes it's not even possible to go to a senior devotee. Last time I was mentioning, I mean, generally it is. Even in a marriage situation, always in a marriage situation, the couple should have someone who's guiding them, someone who, they can go to. Oftentimes that's a spiritual master. And the spiritual master can sometimes be the most powerful support in a marriage. I know many devotees who say that, if it wasn't for my spiritual master, both couple, husband and wife, they say it would not have survived. So we always need a guide. And that's the first step in advancement and happiness, is to have a spiritual mentor, have a guide. Because to solve things alone is very difficult in this world, right? We always need in every aspect of our life. We may be a PhD student, right? We need a supervisor. And sometimes in solving material situations, even a material person may have certain skills that may help us, right? Like if you need a degree in electrical engineering, you have a supervisor who's in electrical engineering. You can't find a devotee to do that. Similarly, sometimes for certain specific issues, a material person may be engaged in Krishna service to help solve that situation. But generally speaking, it's a spiritual problem. So we need a spiritual guide, right? We need a devotee, an advanced devotee to help us. So to the previous discussion also, the advanced devotees are not just to complain, not just to kind of explain the problem and see them as someone who can help us solve the problem. But the advanced devotee is there to help us guide. And part of their guidance might be, don't solve the problem right now, wait, or avoid the problem rather than trying to fix it, avoid it. Like Hanumat Peshik Maharaj used to tell us that sometimes we must fight Maya, but other times we must duck Maya, right? So sometimes it's not worthy to fight it. Like if you're in Russia, to fight Putin is useless right now. If you're a devotee and you think this man is, such a, dictator, and so to go and fight him, even though we're doing it for Krishna, will not lead to a good result. We have to duck it. We have to avoid it. Right? Devotees have been avoiding, so many governments around the world or politicians who are against Krishna consciousness, but they avoid them. So how to approach the situation is also a bigger question sometimes than solving it. Is it solvable? Is it worth solving? How to, approach it? So again, we need the spiritual guide for that. So that would be kind of my thing. So we have to look at our motivation and work in the qualities of, of the devotee, tolerance, humility, all those things. And secondly, we need the spiritual guidance. We can never, do it alone. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Krishna se tumar, Krishna diti paro, tumara shakati ache, ami to kangal, Krishna Krishna bori dhai tava pache pache. I have no strength, but I'm running after you, calling out Krishna, Krishna. So we need someone to run after who can help us and give us the strength, the spiritual strength.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. How do we find that spiritual guide?
So that's a wonderful question. In our ISKCON society, in the movement, we have many nice spiritual masters, and by connecting with a spiritual master in this movement, or not even spiritual master, by finding a devotee of the Lord in this wonderful ISKCON society that Prabhupada has given us, we can find a spiritual guide. But that's a big question, and maybe we'll discuss it offline. So that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Hare Krishna. Maybe you can message me and then we can discuss afterwards.
Yeah, sure, Guruji. Thank you.
Ritesh Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you for a wonderful class. I had a question regarding the stages of bhakti. So, as we discussed, Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan, Anartha Nivrutti, the Nishtha. So, is this like a one-way street, or is there a possibility of, someone going 3 steps ahead and then 2 steps back? Because in my personal life, I have seen sometimes we are doing I am doing bhakti very enthusiastically, and at other times it's not that enthusiasm is not there, the determination is lacking sometimes. So what would you recommend to address this issue?
Oh no, this is very much the case that we can take steps back, and that's that stage that we were reading. It's one of the stages of bhakti described in Madhurya Kadambini, sporadic endeavor, and it's called Ghana Tarala, which means, literally means, Ghana Tarala means, Sanskrit word in English means very enthusiastic, fired up, bummed out. Fired up, yes. So we can become very enthusiastic, very advanced, and then we are unable to keep our vows, inability to keep our vows or our steadiness, and we fall back. That's the first stage of bhajana kriya, or you could say that the first challenge of bhajana kriya is unsteadiness. So unsteadiness means we're sometimes moving forward, sometimes we're moving back. But in moving forward and back, we're always moving forward. Right? If we keep trying, then we're moving forward. That is the stage of bhakti. So initially we're unsteady. So it seems like I'm not making any advancement. I failed again. But in failing many times and picking ourselves up again and continuing to move forward, we are moving forward. So in spiritual life, we can never move back. We can only move forward because we're always learning. We're always advancing. Even in offense, it will throw us back. And so in that way, we're going back. But in the real overall picture, we are also moving forward because next time we'll know not to make that offense, right? So from the bird's eye, from the great perspective, we actually are learning something, right? So we are going to move forward. So so yes, we're always moving forward, but we have to be careful because otherwise we may get thrown really back. And yes, we're learning something. Next time, hopefully, we won't make that mistake, but we also lost a lot of time. Right? Yes. Thank you. Nice. Did that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Maybe I'll just go to the people who haven't commented since we're short of time. Anandini Gopika Mataji, I'll go to them first. And then, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, sorry, this is about the homework question since I'm new. In the homework, it says you can refer to the study guide. And I just wanted to see if the study guide is the guide by Her Grace Urmila Devi Dasi. Is that the one we are referring to for ensuring like correct, checking our answers or anything of that sort?
Yes. So I think, yeah, the study guide is the one that's written by her. Yes.
Okay.
There are more study guides, so feel free to find them. You'll find Nectar of Instruction study guide. I have a whole book on it, but that's the one that I shared, which is kind of like the standard. But yes, that's one. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So I actually have to cut it at 8:30. So Sono ji or Sono Mataji, is that
Yeah.
yes?
I have,
Do you have something quick or is it a longer question?
yeah, I have two things, Prabhuji. I'm new to this group, so one question is like how to access this material to do homework.
Okay. Yes. So those things, just message me and I will guide you on that.
Okay, and one question I had like why material desire fulfill faster compared to spiritual, like
Spiritual opposite bully. Spiritual desire fulfill faster than material.
Yeah, spiritual desire fulfill faster than material desire. Sorry.
Mm. So again, maybe we can take this offline. You can message me and we'll
Okay.
discuss. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I really like your class. This was my first time.
Thank you. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Priya, would you like to summarize? Good.
Yes,
Thank you.
so we can see. So okay. So we can see that basically the summary is that one should not identify or judge a devotee by the type of the body. One should identify him by the soul. And we can see that Krishna is so glorious because of his humbleness. He serves the Brahmanas. So we can see that the devotees are like the water of the Ganges. Like the water of Ganges, it never goes bad if you keep it in the same container for many days. So similarly, the devotees, they they are we should not judge them according to their body color and other things. And we can see that you talk about the 10 offenses of the holy name. So yeah. So the 10 offenses of the holy name. So to blast to I will not say them because we don't have time. But yeah, so the 10 offenses, and he told them the opposite of them. And yeah, so thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Haripriya, always for summarizing. And today's points were short, so you give a nice short summary. Thank you. So I'll see you all next week. We'll continue forward Saturday. Actually, next week I won't be able to do. We have to cancel next week. With a week after that, we'll be meeting because next week, His Holiness Chandramoli Maharaj is coming here, and so he'll be here at my home, so I have to be serving him. Thank you. We'll see you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat
Thank you
Pranam.
so
Hare
much.
Krishna. Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.